Shalom, your brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. With that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kakadash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutation to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. I jump right into the scripture. This is Proverbs 3:5. It says, "Trust in the Most High with all thine heart, and lean not into thine own understanding." Man, so our ways that we learned growing up, man, our mentality, our thought process that we had in the world is pretty much useless, man. It's useless to a man of the Lord. That's why the scripture said that you got to be as babes, man. Basically, you got to learn everything over again, because the mentality of this world, the so-called thinking of this world is pretty much fucking useless, man. It has no true understanding in it. It's based upon a lie. It's based upon the fact that the devil is in control, and it's based upon the false beliefs of the so-called Christian church, man. Because they don't teach you about the end. They don't teach you that judgment is coming. The way they talk is this prosperity gospel, and everything's going to continue on forever. And that's a false way of thinking, man. And that's the way of thinking that the mentality of the world has. So it's better to understand and get your understanding and your common sense from the scriptures, man. Run that back against us, Proverbs 3:5. It says, "Trust in the Most High with all thine heart, with all thy mind." So all your mind has to be in these scriptures, man. And lean not into thine own understanding, or that understanding that you had gained from being in the world, or what the world calls understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, he shall direct thy path. Just get that word direct, or make smooth or straight. In all thy ways acknowledge him, man. So what does the scripture says? It says, "Seek ye first the kingdom Most High, and all these things shall be added unto you." So if you prioritize your mentality with this word, and you prioritize your decisions based on this word, then he shall direct, he shall make smooth or straight thy path, man. There's a saying that they tell you in the military. It basically goes to the it says, the harder you are on yourself, the easier is life on you. Which is pretty true, man. The harder you are, the harder you discipline yourself, the more successful you're going to be. And we can also put that in a spiritual sense, man. The harder you are on yourself, having discipline to stay in the scriptures, and to understand and acknowledge these scriptures, and understand and prioritize this truth, then the scripture said that he will direct thy path, that he will make our path straight and smooth. That's a promise, man. That's a promise to those that seek wisdom. That's a promise to those that seek understanding, that seek out these scriptures. I'm gonna run that back again. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledgement, he shall direct thy paths." And that's only gonna be for a man of the Lord, because like we always say, man, the majority of the world, or the 2/3, the so-called Black and Native Americans, they're not going to want to acknowledge the Most High, anything they do. They're going to base everything by their so-called worldly understanding. Whatever benefits and makes sense to them. Why? Because their belly is their God. Then that's what the scripture says, their belly is their God, meaning that they only seeking their own comfort. They're only seeking their own pleasure. We're not here for comfort and pleasure, man. Micah 2:10 says, "This is not our rest." How could you be because we don't know what true comfort and we don't know what true pleasure is. How could you know what true comfort and pleasure is when you're still in captivity, when you're still a slave? And they say that there's a saying that goes, the greatest imprisonment is the one of your mind. They imprison our minds, man. They held captive your mind. And that's why, you see the folly of the world as it is today, because people are held captive by their mind, man. You walk by any group of us people lounging around in, so-called restaurant or whatever, and they're all going to be in their goddamn phone. They're going to see that blue light shining on their face, and they're going to be in their phone. They're going to be held captive. They're going to be imprisoned by that folly, by that propaganda, by that bullshit that Esau's spewing out, on these social media sites, man. You'll see somebody spend hours on that shit. That's leading to a worldly understanding right there, man. With that, I'm going to get Proverbs 28 and 26. Just a few quick scriptures here at the plantation. This is Proverbs 28 and 26. And it says, he that trusts in his own heart is a fool, in your own mentality, your own mind. But whoso walketh wisely, she shall be delivered. How do you walk wisely, man? By seeking this word, by seeking understanding this word. He that trusts in his own heart is a fool, his own mentality, his own mind, his own thought process, his own way of thinking, man. So the scripture says, to have acknowledged the Lord, he shall direct your path. So to what does it mean to acknowledge? Just go back to that scripture right there. In all that ways, acknowledge. Just get the Strongs for that scripture. It says a primitive root to, let's see, go down here. It says to know, to learn, to perceive, to find out, to discriminate, distinguish, to know by experience, to recognize, admit, to know how to be skillful in. And that's a good one right there, to know how to be skillful in. And so how do you be skillful in this word? Trust in the Most High with all thy heart, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths, man. So you first of all, you gotta have the spirit to accept this word, and then you gotta seek it out, man. You gotta seek it out. That's a requirement, by the way, man. In order to gain wisdom, in order to gain knowledge, wisdom, understanding, according to the scriptures, that a requirement of that is that you must put forth the work, man. You must put forth the sweat of your brow to search out these scriptures. You must put the work in, man. And the Lord will be revealed things unto you. You just can't open the book and expect to find all the answers, man. And that's what a lot of people think. They think they're just gonna open up the Bible and then the answer's gonna pop up to them, man. Sometimes they even do random. They open up to a random scripture, thinking that it's gonna be a sign for the Most High, man, which is totally nonsense. In order to understand the scriptures, you gotta put forth the work, man. You gotta dig in, like the apostle always say. You gotta dig in. You gotta dig into words. You gotta look at historical things, man. You gotta look into the spirit, man. It's a mysterious book, and it requires effort, man. It's a pearl of great price, like the scripture calls it. Scripture says, talking about the pearl of great price. And once that man found that pearl of great price, he sold everything that he had to follow that, to purchase that price, man. And that's what it requires. It requires supreme sacrifice, man. And that's contrary to the knowledge of this world, because the knowledge of the world, it's freely given unto you, man. All you got to do is look at a Google search, and you'll get whatever bullshit answer that you're looking for. There is a lot of good information on the internet, but if that's going to be the guidance of your life, hey, you're already failing, man. With that, I'm going to get Proverbs 28 and 26 again. It's Proverbs 28 and 26. And it says, he that trusteth in his own heart is a fool. And why is that? Because Yahweh Shai told us what comes out of our heart, what comes out of our mind, what comes out of our carnal or worldly way of thinking. With that, to prove that, I'm going to get Matthew 15:19. It says Matthew, this is talking about what comes out of a man's. What is the carnal way of thinking? What is the worldly mentality, which is contrary to this truth? And it says, for out of the heart proceedeth evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, deaths, false witnesses, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but he was unwashed hand defile not a man. So that's what really wisdom consists of, man. And that's why you see all of that on your so-called social media, in your music, in movies, television programs. These are the topics. These are what's taught to our children, man. Why? Because we are in the captivity of the mind. And that's why the scripture says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You got to understand that these scriptures, man, they are supernatural. They are not just words in a book. They are to be revered and acknowledged. And there must be a discipline that goes with it, that goes to the seeking and searching of it. Instead, I want to get 1 Corinthians 3:18, a few more scriptures. I'm going to close it out. says, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seems to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may become wise, a fool knowing nothing. So you got to abandon everything that you learned. You got to abandon, every custom or tradition, that or habit that you learn in the world. And for majority of people, a lot of our people, it's hard for them to do that. It's hard to abandon that, man. But why the scripture said, let him become a fool that he may become wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolish was most high. For it's written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Because ultimately, what the worldly mentality is going to be your fucking downfall, man. So brothers got to be on a different level. Brothers, men of the Lord, the men that are in this truth, the brothers that are in this truth, we have to be on a completely different level, man. So you gotta throw all that other bullshit out the window. Whether it be being emotional or being easily offended or anything like that. We gotta be hard men. Because to be a hard man, to be a disciplined man, that's required to be in this truth. That's required to seek this word, man. With that being said, man, just a real quick lesson. I could have brought a few more scriptures, but I want to make it too long. I want to get straight to the point, man. Hey, we gotta be on another level, man. Most I would and hope the lesson was edifying. With that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Brothers, keep on pushing. Shalom.